What is up, everyone? My name is OJ, and welcome to the Village of PlayerEssence, where you can get all your latest gaming and Nintendo Switch news, PE Ninjas. So let's go ahead and get right into this one. So, as you guys know, there was pretty much a big rumor/leak about the specs and various aspects of the Nintendo Switch. If you have not seen my last video on it, please make sure you check out my channel and watch that. So this one, we're going to be going over the developer information about the actual technology in the Nintendo Switch, in addition to extra features such as Bluetooth, managing Wi-Fi, settings, and more. So here is the list. I'm just going to list them right off. So 1, HD Rumble's technical name is Linear Renaissance Actuator. When in handheld mode, the Switch will have an unlock screen like a smartphone to prevent accidental waking. The Nintendo Switch features a quick menu. Press and hold the home button for at least 1 second to display the quick settings screen on top of all other screens, including the home menu and any applications. Unlike the Nintendo 3DS, the active software will not be suspended when this menu is invoked. The Nintendo Switch's keyboard will feature predictive text such as those on iOS and Android. System settings will allow the user to edit the following settings: flight mode toggle, enable/disable Bluetooth, manage Wi-Fi, manage NFC, manage screen brightness, screen lock, user settings, create/edit me, theme management, controller management, system update. Mii's will have more options for hair, eyebrows, eyes, facial hair, glasses, mouths, and skin. Mii's will not store the creator's name, their favorites, and their birthdays anymore. Anyone can edit Mii characters. Developers can create and sell season passes for their games. This document also confirms some specifications for the Nintendo Switch, so it's like an X1 SoC using Maxwell on the final retail version of it. There are no plans to provide an internet browser at this stage, but developers are able to access a web applet to display specific websites within their game/app. Nintendo has also talked about it not being at launch, but also it probably coming down the line as well as far as a web browser goes. A maximum of 8 users can be registered on a system. Friend requests and game invites can be sent from the console. You do not necessarily need a smartphone app to do so. Friend Presence is a feature that uses the internet to convey information in real time about the online status of friends and the applications they are playing. Among possibilities, we see this being used in the application to check whether friends are in a joinable state, and to use the friend list system feature screen to show what applications friends are playing. A Nintendo account can be linked to multiple Nintendo Switches, but saved data is not automatically synchronized. There are 2 dev kit devices, SDEV and EDEV. SDEV has built-in ports, no built-in battery. EDEV resembles the retail product exactly, but is in a black color. Game cards come in multiple different variants: 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB, and 32 GB. So plenty of storage space for games. Next, we're going to get into some of the hardware specifications. Remember, this is still 100% rumor, and some of this information is even still missing, even with a developer leak. So first, we're going to talk about the CPU. It's kind of like the one that we already discussed, and kind of like everything that we've seen so far. It's going to be 4 ARM Cortex A57 cores, maximum 2 GHz, L2 cache, 2 MB, 64-bit ARM v8, crypto extension enabled. You can use up to 3 cores, so pretty much the maximum there. Do not have a clock speed on those. It looks like it says TBD on that one. The GPU, NVIDIA 2nd generation Maxwell architecture, 256 CUDA cores, maximum 1 GHz, 1024 flops per cycle, texture 16 pixels per cycle, fill 14.4 pixels/cycles, to be decided as far as the functionality from the application. So once again, this puts it right underneath Xbox One if you just want to look at it as pure computing raw performance. Although this is a customized GPU, it is not necessarily going to be the same thing as just like an X1. It is customized. We do not know the customizations, but that does put it around, as far as the performance goes, around the Xbox One, a little bit underneath it based on that. There's a lot of stuff that's already been confirmed, such as like SD memory, system memory. It's going to be 32 GB with a transfer rate of 400 megabytes per second, which is actually really good. There's going to be Bluetooth 4.0 plus LE, in addition to USB 2.0 and 3.0. The video output on here says 60 frames per second at a maximum of 1080p and 30 frames per second at a maximum of 4K. So for video, We'll see how that actually turns up in the final retail kit. The built-in display, 6.2-inch screen, of course, LCD, 720p. And then when it comes to the main memory, so there's going to be 4 gigabytes of RAM with a bandwidth of 25.6 gigabytes per second, and then also the VRAM is shared, but then the capacity for the actual games, because you have your system or OS RAM that it needs to run, and then you also have the RAM that's available for games, and it's also shared as well, which is cool. But yes, it says 3.25 gigabytes for games, so the OS is extremely light, which kind of plays right into the theory that I was talking about just a little bit ago, that the reason why this OS is so basic is because it's light. This device is really just built for playing games. They did not want a lot of stuff crammed into there in order to take up resources, because the Wii U's RAM took up 1 whole gigabyte for RAM on the Wii U when it comes to the OS. This is actually lighter than the Wii U's because it doesn't have some type of Miiverse and War Plaza and all that stuff booting up. It's just basically that basic menu that you have there, a couple themes, and that's that at this point. So that's the reason why we're getting 3.25 gigabytes for games. If this is true, once again, this is 100% rumor on this matter. And then it also says TBD, the current capacity should be ultimately available. So of course, yeah, they're saying 3.25 or maybe even a little bit more, but that is a super light and probably blazing fast OS. Because it is so light and doesn't take up a ton of gigabytes of resources. Just for comparison's sake, the Xbox One and the PS4 both have 8 gigabytes of RAM. However, 3 to 4 gigabytes are used up for the OS for both of those systems. I think the PS4 has a maximum of maybe 5.5 that you can use, but I would probably say that most games don't use that amount. And the Xbox One probably has a little bit less available for games, so it is right around the 4 to 5 gigabytes of RAM available for PS4 and Xbox One, whereas with the Nintendo Switch, it's going to be 3.25. So pretty close, not as low as some people were maybe expecting it to be, because some people thought that the OS on the Nintendo Switch was going to be at least 1 or 2 gigabytes of RAM taking it up. But that is definitely not the case. And once I saw the OS, I was like, yeah, that's not going to be anywhere near a gigabyte worth of space or anywhere close to 2 gigabytes or even more than 1 gigabyte, just because of how basic and fast that OS is. All right, guys, so this is a ton of information to go over. I do want to highlight a couple different things here, and that is the game cards as far as the variants go. There are lots of different variants for people to choose as far as game cards. So if you are an indie developer, you have your 1 gigabyte, you have your 2 gigabyte, or you have your 4 gigabyte, and probably some bigger or more extreme cases. If you are a bigger developer, you have your 16 and 32 gigabytes. And look, I definitely know that with the PS4 and Xbox One, a lot of games go way over 32 gigabytes when it comes to the storage capacities. But guys, that stuff is so much bloatware. Games do not need to be 70, 80 gigabytes. Developers need to learn how to optimize a little bit more. There is no reason Call of Duty, a game that is not like an open world, does not have a bunch of streaming assets and like a Witcher or something like that. There is no reason that game should be more than The Witcher or more than open world games. I really do not understand some of these games that just pack everything on there. Maybe they don't remove, they don't optimize, but I do feel that 32 gigabytes is definitely plenty. And the technology on the Nintendo Switch is different, so you don't know how it optimizes or prioritizes memory when it comes to developing games on there. Next, I want to talk about the friend request and game invites being sent from the console. And I always felt that was going to be the case, that the smartphone app was going to work in conjunction to provide a better experience for users. So for example, I feel that the smartphone app is actually going to be very helpful for someone like me who runs a lot of different stuff. So to play games with you guys, instead of having to go in one by one and type in you guys' name to invite you to a game, I'll just be able to use my smartphone and have the game going, and I can just easily add you guys using that touch screen and being able to add all of you guys to a group and send out game invites in one massive thing. I think an app is probably going to be a lot faster and better for organization. So that's just my opinion on the matter. I'm glad that it's in there as far as like the friend invites and all that for on the console, because once again, I do feel that it's going to work in conjunction. And I know some people are a little upset or worried about the app controls everything, maybe because they don't have a smartphone or they don't want to use another smartphone. But for guys like me who are going to set up PE game nights and everything and want to have ways to mass invite people quickly and effectively, and even do that like when I'm at work and stuff, so I can set up stuff when I'm not even at my console, I think the app is going to be very helpful and very good for Splatoon and for other shooters when you want to get everything set up, send out notifications to people wherever you are. I think it's just forward thinking, in my opinion, especially for someone like me who I'm at work all day, and if I want to set up something for later in the night, that's going to be there, but you can do everything from the console, so that's pretty cool. Enable, disable, Bluetooth, all this stuff is awesome. And some people were even like, oh my gosh, it has predictive text. 100% day one buy at this point. Just like iOS and Android, sign me up. So overall, what do you guys think about these specs? What do you guys think about all this information here? This is rumor. This is not 100% fact at this point. So you cannot take it as 100% fact. You can only take it as rumor. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright guys, that wraps up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.